now we are going to start with the new chapter, reproduction in organisms. This is the peculiar characteristics of any living organism which can reproduce and can maintain their species. So now when we are talking about reproduction, we all know that any living organism can have particular lifespan. So the question is, what is lifespan? Lifespan is the period between birth to normal death. That period is considered as lifespan of any living organism. No living organism is immortal. Once they have taken birth, they have to die. So no organisms are immortal. Along with that, different organisms, they have different lifespans. For example, elephant having 60 to 90 years, dog with 20 to 30 years, butterfly is having lifespan of only 1 to 2 weeks, rose of 5 to 7 years, crow for 15 years, parrot 140 years, banana tree 25 years, peepal tree approximately 1500 years, may go beyond that also, banyan tree 200 years, fruit fly 30 days, crocodile 60 years, horse also 60 years, tortoise 100 to 150 years, rice plant 3 to 4 months, and cow 20 to 25 years. You can see here variation is there. Some are having lifespan of only weeks. Some are having lifespan of only days. For example, fruit fly. Or maybe some are having more than 1000 years. So there is no correlation between the size of living organism and their lives or their lifespans. For that, I can give you two examples. Number one, you can see here example of crow and parrot. Crow and parrot. You can see here crow and parrot. Crow is having, almost both are having similar sizes. But crow is having lifespan of only 15 years, while parrot is having 140 years. So it's a big difference between the lifespan of these two organisms. Second example I can give you in plants for banyan tree and peepal tree. Again, sizes are almost similar. So here I can show you banyan tree having 200 years, while peepal tree having approximately 1500 years. So there is no relation between the size of organisms and their lifespans. Along with that, I can also say that different organisms, they are also having different lifespans. May vary from weeks to months to years also. No organism is immortal except one organism. Can you judge it? Answer is unicellular organisms. So when we are talking about unicellular organism, we can say they can be considered as immortal. Why? Because when they reproduce, actually from one organism, they are going to have two organisms. So here growth is also there, reproduction is also there, and that's how they are not going to die. So unicellular organisms can be considered, because of single cell they can be considered as immortal organisms. Rest of other organisms, they have to die depending on their lifespans that has been decided. Right? So now we also have to understand that different organisms, what different type of varieties in lifespans are there, and how they are going to reproduce. So now let's start with the definition of reproduction. Reproduction is the process in which mature organism produces young ones of its type. The important word is of its type and at maturity. So, at maturity, living organism can produce young ones of its type. That process is known as reproduction. So, once offsprings are there, these offsprings they'll grow, they'll become mature, and ultimately they'll also reproduce to have young ones. So I can say this entire process is represented by a cycle where from birth growth will be there, and then in between reproduction process to produce new organism, and ultimately death will be there. Now the one who have been produced will again grow, will reproduce, and to produce new organism. So thus how it is a continuous cyclic like process in which they are going to have new organism. Now the question is, how the methods of reproduction have been decided? Whether they have chosen by themselves, or whether the nature has given that method, or the God has proposed those methods. Actually, the factors which are affecting the methods of reproduction can be. So, reproduction is basically, or reproduction method is normally or can be decided by their habitats of living organisms, their internal physiological conditions, and some other factors. Some other factors, they are going to decide this reproduction methods. And slowly, gradually, in changing environment, they are also going to evolve for these methods also. Basic two reproduction methods are there. We all know that is asexual reproduction method and the sexual reproduction method. So, here I am going to write about asexual reproduction method and the sexual reproduction method. Asexual reproduction method where only single parent is involved. So I can write here only single parent is involved. Here it can be single parent. Why only single? If the organism is hermaphrodite or maybe bisexual. So single or two parents with opposite sex are there. So that can also be the type of organisms involved in sexual reproduction method. In asexual reproduction method, gamete production is not required. Here, gamete production required. If no gamete production, no fusion. Here, fusion of male and female gametes will take place. In asexual reproduction method, variation is not possible. Here it is possible, and that's why I can say in asexual reproduction method, I am going to have the offsprings identical to their parents, or maybe you can say clones can be obtained. While sexual reproduction method, we can have characteristics of both maternal and paternal side, and that's why here they are similar to parents along with some variations. And that's why in nature, sexual reproduction method is much more better than asexual reproduction method because it brings variation, which is the basic cause for evolution. That's how I can say reproduction enables the organism to maintain continuity generation after generation. Now we are going to start with the type of reproduction, that is asexual reproduction method, in detail. So starting with asexual reproduction method. Asexual reproduction method, where single parent is involved. No gamete formation. Takes place, and here in asexual reproduction the offsprings will be identical to parents. So identical to parent, that is, I can say, genetically and morphologically similar to parent. I can say it as clone also. So this is known as clones. Now asexual reproduction method, various methods have been observed. Normally asexual reproduction method is seen in unicellular organisms. Seen in unicellular organisms, somewhat in plants and animals also. So in plants and animals also, but with less variation. Now we need to study about the various methods of asexual reproduction method. So starting with the first method, and that is cell division method. First is cell division method. This method is normally observed in protists and monarians. Monarians means all bacteria. So simply here organisms divide, as normally these are single cell organisms. So simple cell division takes place. So here cell division takes place, and because of that the new cells which have been produced will act as new organism. So new cells act as new organism. This is the most simple method as cell division asexual reproduction method. Now moving on to second method. Second method, that is binary fission. Where bi means double, fission means division. Organism is going to divide into two organisms. So simple. This can be seen in amoeba and paramecium. What happens here? So organism divides into two halves, and then both halves will grow as new organisms. For example, This is amoeba. This will start dividing. So, it is stretching and this is nucleus stretching, and ultimately it is going to divide into two daughter amoeba cells. Simple binary fission will lead in the two new organisms. This was second method. Now third method, that is bud formation. Normally can be seen in organism like yeast and hydra. Yeast is unicellular organism and hydra is multicellular organism. Here division is unequal. So unequal division takes place, and because of that cell mass or maybe bud like structure arise on outer side of the body. Initially this will remain attached to the parental body. So initially remain attached to parental body, and when the environment become favorable, so during favorable condition this bud get detached and will start as independent organism. For example, I can show you here for yeast. This is single cell organism. Yeast, slowly gradually a small bud like formation start appearing on the surface, and then it grows little bit, and then it gets detached from the parental plant. That is for yeast. Same I can show you for hydra. This is hydra. Then small bud appears. It will grow. And then it gets detached from the parental organism. That's how cell mass or bud-like structure will appear and will form new organism. The next method which we are going to study, that is the spore formation. So now the next is spore formation. Normally can be seen in algae and fungi. Two types of spores can be produced. So, two types of spores, motile spores, which can move, and that's why known as zoospores. Example is Chlamydomonas. You can see here so many spores have been produced and which get released from Chlamydomonas. So those which are able to move, motile spores, are also known as zoospores. Another type, that is non-motile spores. Non-motile, as the name suggests, they cannot move. Example here, you can have in Penicillium. They are having conidia. Penicillium having conidia. So this is structure. And on their surface, non-motile spores are present here. So these are conidia. That was one more type of asexual reproduction method. One more which is there, that is known as gemmules. Special type of reproduction method which is also considered as internal bird formation. Normally can be seen in sponges. So bird formation occurs within, or you can say inside body. Unlike Hydra, where the bird formation was occurring outside the body, here it is occurring within the body. For example, these are all internal bird structures known as gemmules, and they are protected by one covering, and this is the structure of sponge, and then ultimately it get released when the environment become favorable. So that was all about gemmules. And the last method that we need to study in asexual reproduction method, that is vegetative propagation. So I think sixth one, that is vegetative propagation. Now in vegetative propagation, what is the word meaning? Basically, asexual reproduction, it is the term when single parent without gamete reproduction process occurs. That process can be known as asexual reproduction method in animals. And the same method for plants, it can be known as vegetative propagation method. The structure which are involved here, those structures are known as vegetative propagules. Known as vegetative propagules. Different plants have this different varieties for vegetative propagation methods. For example, I will start with sweet potato. In sweet potato, adventitious birds arise on its root. So, for example, this is sweet potato and the adventitious birds arise here. These are adventitious birds, and these birds are when kept in soil, then they are going to produce new plants. That is the method of vegetative propagation. That is first example of sweet potato. Second, the method which is seen in potato, that is structure known as tuber and eye. In potato, stem become fleshy by storing food. So stem become fleshy due to food storage, and again adventitious birds arise on its surface. For example, this is sweet potato and this birds kind of structures are arising. These are known as eye, and they are responsible for doing vegetative propagation, that is asexual reproduction method. Third, I can tell, in grass, oxalis kind of plants, they have structures known as runners. We know that whenever there is lawn, garden lawn, we grow a little sample of grass at one place. Slowly, gradually, it gets spread in the entire area. That is only due to asexual reproduction method with the help of runners. So, for example, this is grass. This is the soil part, and from that, a long thin structure arise from normally node parts, and when it comes in contact with the soil part, it is going to produce new plant. So this structure, thin, long, parallel to the your soil or the land part, that is known as runner. Same way, one more method which is observed, that is observed in strawberry and mint, and that is known as sucker. Sucker. So normally, for example, this is mint plant I am showing you. Again, from node part, structure arise here. Like this. When comes in contact with the land part, it is going to form new plant. So that is sucker, which is present in strawberry as well as in mint. Fifth part, that is offset. Offset is found normally in Pistia and Eichhornia. Eichhornia, that is also known as terror of Bengal. Terror of Bengal. What happens? This is aquatic plant. So, aquatic plant is here. And from that, now a branch arise which is little thick in structure. When comes in contact with the land part, again land in the lake or water body, then it is going to form new plant. So this is offset. And why this Eichhornia plant is known as terror of Bengal? This plant was having very beautiful flowers, purple flowers were there, and this is not Indian origin plant. This was brought from outside India for its beautiful flowers. But when it was introduced in water body, within short period of time, it started getting spread on the water surface. It started taking oxygen from the water bodies, and because of that, the submerged plants and other animals like fish and other aquatic animals started to die due to lack of oxygen. So, this was becoming like a weed-like structure which was very difficult to get rid of, and that's why it is known as terror of Bengal. This terror of Bengal or Eichhornia crescentis plant that actually reproduce with the help of offset, that is you can say vegetative propagation method, and that occurs very fast and within a short period of time. So to remove those plants from particular one plant body was becoming headache. So that was offset. Now next, which is there, we can say rhizome. Rhizome can be seen in ginger and banana plant. Ginger and banana plant, where you can see if this is land part, then the ginger can grow horizontally to the soil, and The stem part grows, stores food, and will have the adventitious parts which are responsible for doing vegetative propagation, and that is nothing but the asexual reproduction method. The special name was given as rhizome. Next is bulb formation. Bulb formation can be seen in onions and garlic. You must have seen the spring onion like this. This is actually leaf base part. Leaf base part. So initially it was like this, and leaf base was there, and this leaf base was responsible for storing food. Because of that, it becomes fleshy, and now after that it is responsible for doing vegetative propagation, and the structure is such like rounded structure, and that's why the name has been given as bulb. Next, that is bulbil. Bulbil is vegetative propagation through floral birds, or through birds you can say, in which I can have two categories. One example is agave, where the floral bird is responsible for doing vegetative propagation. So for example, this is agave plant, and floral bird, long floral bird is there, which stores food and will do vegetative propagation. Same way, Dioscorea is there. In Dioscorea, the axillary bird, this is Dioscorea. The axillary bird stores food, become round in structure, bigger in size, and ultimately it gets detached from the parental plant for vegetative propagation method to produce new plant. So that is also known as bulbil. One more structure which is found here, that is the leaf bird present in Bryophyllum. Bryophyllum, this is the Bryophyllum leaf, and on the margin of Bryophyllum one can found adventitious birds like this. These birds, when get detached from the leaf, will fall on the land part and will produce new plants. That is also known as vegetative propagation method. This method can be used and much more exploited by the farmers for the production of this kind of new plants. So these are various methods through which we can have asexual reproduction methods in plants also. And normally this asexual reproduction methods arise, or the asexual reproducing parts, or you can say vegetative propagules, are arising from the nodes of the particular plants, which are helping to produce new plants without the opposite partner. Normally, asexual reproduction method has advantage that, number one, when the environment is not favorable, in such condition the gamete production is not occurring, so that plant can survive, can continue its species, that is next generation, with the help of asexual reproduction method. And here the identical plant can be used, or identical plant can be produced, which can be helpful if all the beneficial characteristics are there in that particular plant. In asexual reproduction, two more processes which are left. Those are, one is known as sporulation. Sporulation process is generally seen in amoeba kind of organisms. So that is amoeba. And in amoeba, when the conditions are not favorable, so I can say in unfavorable conditions, environmental conditions are not favorable, at that time amoeba will stretch all its pseudopodia. So all the pseudopodia will get stretched toward inner side, and because of that it will acquire round shape. So here I can write pseudopodia get stretched and will acquire round shape, and later on it will form 3-layered wall surrounding the body. So that 3-layered wall, this is 3-layered wall forming cyst, and this process is known as encystation. So this will allow to keep the organism alive during unfavorable conditions. Now when conditions become favorable, so now favorable conditions are there. At that time, inside organism, multiple fission will take place. So multiple fission will take place, and because of that, numerous unicellular organisms, that is, you can say unicellular amoeba will form within cyst, and after that cyst ruptures and all the amoeba get free in the environment as independent organisms. So that is one process of sporulation. One more which is there, that is known as fragmentation. In fragmentation, normally this can be seen in paramecium-like organism. Planaria kind of organism. Planaria, this is planaria. This get divided into many fragments. All fragments get free. And later on, all parts will develop the remaining part. So now I can say like this. So all develop the remaining parts and will grow into individual planaria which are equivalent to the number of fragments. So this is also one more method for asexual reproduction.